good morning, good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all colors, all races, all languages around the world. Good morning, men, women, and children. Good morning to everyone. May you have the most productive day, the most beautiful day that a person could possibly have. Today's discussion and today's topic is going to be entitled A New Vision. And underneath it, or in parentheses, it's going to be a three-part topic, and it's going to discuss family. It's going to address friends and associate is part two, and spirituality is going to be part three. However, these are all topics going to be discussing me as a person and how I view life. We should always, whoever we're following on any type of social media venue, you should have some kind of a grip on what a person believes in, what their stances are. So today, this is what we're going to discuss. And so these are, going to be changes to my channel because, as I had said before, different people bring us to a new awareness of ourselves, but we can't accept if we close ourselves down and we become closed to this new awareness and we think that we have all the answers, then we can never change, for the better, because we'll be stuck in yesterday. So before we start, click like, subscribe, share. There's a lot of different topics on the playlist that we can talk about and that discusses things and just another way of looking at life, as well as this video. So, I'm going to share, personal things that have to do with me. And for the people on Facebook that, I normally on the weekends I get up and I wish you good morning. I apologize that I didn't have a chance to get back to you. I had a death in the family, and that brought about my awareness. So this is some of the stuff that I'm going to discuss today because it opened up my eyes to family and some of the choices that we make, but it also changed the way that I view life. So today we're going to discuss, as I mentioned earlier, change. This is change for the positive. So we're going to discuss my realization, changes that not only, that are taking place in my life, however, how this change will affect my channel and some of the things that I talk about, as well as giving clarification, to the views from this point forward and what I mean and what I'm saying, because there's various people that subscribe and most think I'm talking directly to them, and that's not always the case. I'm talking about the world because this is a worldwide problem and we all do the same things. So this is why, there's that personal connection to some of the things I say. So this topic will be broken down into, as I said, into a three-part series. Part one is going to be family, part two is going to be friends, associates, and part three will deal on my views with spirituality and religions. All right, so let's begin because I want to get this in so that, we can get it in a short time. All right, now, I was brought up in a close-knit family. We did everything together. We had love because we had nothing else. We were basically all broke, and that was the best time of my life, and I would love to go back to that point. We stood as a family. We shared as a family. Not only our immediate family, but our entire family. We were united. When we were not gathered together, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, as well as my grandparents were all important to our survival, and we made sure we visited them every week. It was an everyday affair, no ifs, ands, or buts. It was something that we had to do because remember, the people who are older are the ones who teach our youth, and that's going to play a key role in the end of this discussion. The misconception on my channel is that I speak of walking away from dysfunctional families that may be causing you stress or depression over and over. I still feel this way, and you should, because if something is tearing you down, then you should go in a direction where people around you are building you up. That's what love is, and sometimes it's not about a family thing, it's about what's a heart thing and what's in a person's heart. So how many of the viewers to say to walk away? Most people don't share this dysfunction within their families. A lot of my viewers still have a close-knit family. And to you, I advise these, what you can take from my videos is ways to strengthen your family, because these signs happen before families fall apart. So this way, if a person sees this happening within their family, they'll know how to deal with it. They'll know how to confront it from the start, or another way of looking at how to confront it as a different way in order to save your family and to strengthen your family. But if the dysfunction again is there and the dysfunction is too great, walk away. But in terms of my family, we're divided. We only come together for funerals and sickness. So now it's tying in. Only funerals and sickness. We do not visit or call or invite nor plan events to bring and strengthen one another. We only come together when when we do come together, it's out of need. So when a person in my family comes and they need something, instead of helping and being supportive, we blame or we give advice. We don't support nor stand with the individual. We put our friends, religious groups, and social validation before brother or sister, meaning it's a competition. And religion is one sense. Competing against brother and sister is a different thing. Where we're not helping one another. So we're only saying, hey, look at what I have, look at what I just bought, or look at what I own. So most of you are asking the question. It sounds like you are saying the same thing. So what's different in your views, and how has this change affected my views and my focus regarding my channel and my message? Well, let's discuss this. In some of my earlier videos, I blamed friends, I blamed religion, and I blamed propaganda as the cause. That my family was the victim. So I was making up excuses for the actions that was going on within the family instead of looking at them. Although this is true, ultimately, it's up to the individual to make a choice to go in a direction that goes away from family, which goes away from our morals. So what this does is, instead of our families being one family, we have created subgroups, subfamilies within a family. And this is why we only come together in funerals and when somebody's sick. No other time. Okay, but there is once a year that we do this, and we're going to discuss that too. So, but what these subgroups do is they change the structure of family values and morals into new values and morals of today, meaning that each one of these subgroups, no families and morals will match up to the next. This is why you have so much separation, because the value system is broken. Instead of carrying the old and improving upon the old morals and values which our family stood for, we broke them down into whatever we wanted to, took what we wanted to, and made it just for our family alone, instead of coming together to make those values work for all families. So, to bring my point home, which is the death in the family, my father's brother, my uncle, passed away yesterday. Now, most people will say, oh, I'm sorry, there's, sympathy. No, there's no sympathy for me and no sympathy for my family. And the reason is because I was not there for my uncle. I know my uncle. I knew the person that I had grown up with. But as an adult, as I got older and older, like I said, all these separations tore us apart. However, on this day for the funeral, the family will be coming together, as well as friends and distant friends and distant relatives will all come together to share sympathy. Now we're going to find out how this ties in. What is fake about this day is that our families, who really haven't spoken to one another or visited one another, although many live in the same city, will only actually be catching up on this day. So here we have my uncle, and rest in peace. And like I said, I do love my uncle. But they'll only be catching up because some of these people haven't spoken to one another in over 10 years. Some of them haven't spoken to one another in over 30 years. So when I speak of condoning and taking a stance, my stance is that I'm not going to attend this funeral. Not because I don't love my uncle. I love my uncle, and like I said in the beginning, I love my sisters, I love my brothers, I love my family, I love my distant relatives, but there has to be a stance that is taken because I'm constantly seeing how this thing is just breaking apart. And I can't stand for it. I can't try to fix something that doesn't want to be fixed, and we can't come together and fix something that's broken unless we all come together. Yet we have all these excuses not to come to deal with it, to make things right. So I had to take a stance. Not because I don't love them, it's because I think that we should have those morals and values. I think it's affecting the children of tomorrow, even my own children, which are separated from everyone. So because I can no longer put on a fake face for those who have no idea of the inner workings of our family, I took a stance that any stance of being together and loving is only for the people and the people who are attending that funeral. No more, no less. When we stand together and like everything is all love, it's only for show and tell. It's for the people. It's fake. It's not real. Because right after the funeral is over, we go right back to our subgroups, to our division, to our divide, don't talk to one another for years on end, and until the next death, or until somebody is sick. No more, no less. And when we do have cookouts, it's because somebody from out of state, a relative, is coming in. So we want to show that relative that we're all together and we're all one happy family. It's fake. So we can either live in a fake world or we can live in a real world. I'm living in a real world. So in ending, family should always come first. Now you see how these kids come in. Family should always come first over friends, religion, social validation, because of the obligations to all of our future, which is the children and their children. So, there is a difference in how I view families. I took away the excuses that I was making up and saying, hey, these people are making choices. And I found that in real time when I went, as soon as someone passes away, I was right there. But when I saw that things were the same and things were going to be the same, I couldn't stand for it. So, I came back, which was, I live away from my family, but I traveled to them and then I came back. So, in ending, in ending, our children, our families should always be first. Nothing should come before that. Because at the end of the day, and this is what I preach on my channel, I'm not pushing a religion. I'm just pushing people to be the best that they can be. And, by getting out there and wishing people good morning and greeting people, it's to say that, I believe, but it's up to the people to believe, that things can be better. So, stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be discussing friends and associates. So these are all my views on, like I said, on family and why I take the stance that I do on families. Because, if I condone it, then my children will think that it's okay, to be separate and to be different. And then I feed into, my children will feed into that same system. And that's not the system that I want. But, if we are in that system, then we have to make the system right. We can't just ignore what divided us. We have to deal with what divided us in order to bring one another back. And that has to do with self-realization. So I can't make a person, self-reflect. It's up to them. All I can do is hold out hope. But at the same time, I hold out hope while taking a stance. So, with that, everyone, hopefully you got a little clearer picture on how I view things. That, I'm from this old school, and I still hold those old school morals, I still hold those old school values, and I am unwilling to compromise with the values of today, because the values of today and the morals of today have done so much to separate us. But at the end of the day, it's a choice that we make. So for everyone who is out there enjoying the time with their family, hopefully you can get something from this. And thank you, Valeria, for the invite. I got the invite after the video. I'm gonna direct message you to let you know what took place. But thank you so much, because you and your family opened up your arms to me to invite me somewhere. But I will make it a point the next time that I am available to do something like that, I will be there. So for that, everyone, have the most beautiful day. Have an awesome day. Many blessings to you all. And with that, peace and blessings.